Oh. That's weird. I don't like the light. It's bothering me. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. I forgot the words for a second. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, Mare. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Girl, the curtains are closed. That's the problem. I'm trying to figure out how to stay out of the glow, that heavenly glow. Look, I'm an angel, touched by an angel. Just kidding. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Talk. Let me tell you why I'm late this morning. Because I woke up at 6:30 to let the dog out. Who let the dog out? And guess what I did, y'all? I went back to sleep. I'm sorry. What does that even mean? It means I got back in bed and closed my eyes and my body fell back to sleep. Y'all, I cannot even remember a time in my life in the last 5 years, at least, where I went back to sleep. It's not a thing. So it was a thing this morning. It was glorious. So for those of you who are wondering where I was or what was happening with me, now you know. I'm sorry about this light. It's driving me nuts. Oh, really? This is just going to drive me crazy. This is why I don't do Coffee Talk in the light, because you can't see me. Yeah, so I slept and it was awesome. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. We went to my mother-in-law's. It was a great day. We woke up in the morning. Santa came, the whole thing. And it was great. It was awesome. Spent the day with Father Bob, which always makes me happy. You know what's interesting? Let me tell you a little secret. You know what's interesting? When you and your husband are in that weird space and you have to pick out a holiday card. Like, I'm just going to keep it all the way real with you right now for a second, okay? Mary, if you're still watching, you're going to love this. I went to the card place, a couple of days ago to pick out a Christmas card for Michael. And, when you and your spouse or your partner are in a good space, every holiday card works. Like, I can't imagine this holiday season without you. Like, you are as important to me as Jesus. I love you so much. What would I do without you? Blah, blah, blah. But when you and your spouse are in a weird space, you read the holiday cards and you're like, this Christmas season, I just want you to know that your truth and honesty and love are all that I need. This one not gonna work. Put it back. Pick up the next one. You read the card. This holiday season, I just want you to know that nobody has ever made me feel, hey, Captain Lee, I just want you to know that nobody has ever made me feel as secure and truthful as you. This card feels like it might be lying. So I was like, yo, I'm going to have to legitimately find a holiday card that just says, this holiday season, I'm not really sure how I feel, but I'm still glad you're alive, and Merry Christmas. It was funny. It made me laugh. I thought you guys would appreciate that. It's literally exactly what happens every Mother's Day when I have to buy my mom a card. When it's like, Mom, You were so supportive of me my whole life and said the sweetest, most uplifting things to me. I'm like, I can't send that to my mom. That feels like a lie. Oh my God, that is so funny. Jamie, you are funny. Thank you, Jamie. You are welcome. Okay, so I want to tell you a story, okay? Thank you all for saying I look happy and healthy. That really means a lot to me, actually. Whoa, Jamie, don't get crazy and break the phone. Whoa, oh, Lord have mercy. Is there anything I don't break in this house? I'm trying to... All right. Guys, I'm sorry about the light. It just is going to be what it is for now. Okay, so I want to tell you a story about giving and doing enough for people. When I was working for Wayne Brady, I worked for Wayne for years, and Wayne became a very, very good friend of mine. Oh my gosh, someone just said there needs to be an awkward place section for cards. Yes, we need to do a line of Coffee Talk cards that are that awkward place. Like when your friend, you and your friend like are kind of on the outs, and you go on that like awkward coffee or lunch for her birthday, and like you don't really know if your friendship's going to make it, and you're like, not really sure what's happening with our friendship, but wanted to show up and wish you a happy birthday anyway. Okay, so let me go back to Wayne for a second. So one time, Wayne and I were in Washington, D.C., and we were getting ready to perform or host the BET Honors, I think. I say we because obviously I was hosting too. And after the show or after rehearsal, we went out to eat. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were in this diner in DC, and we were talking about the holidays because it was in November. I remember because it was right around the inauguration of Obama, I think, because the whole city was like, I think Beyonce was there. It was crazy. Anyway, we were talking about the holidays and giving and whatever. And, Wayne was talking about how when he was young, his mother couldn't do a lot for them as kids. And that many holidays they went without, and, that she was only able to do the bare minimum for them. And I was very interested in how that affected him. And he said, I wanted to know if it had any negative impact on the way he felt about his mother, because she could only do what she could do. When you're kids, sometimes you get angry at things you don't understand, right? And he said, years later, looking back, that no, he's so appreciative of the effort that she did make and the struggle that she went through and all of these things. And so I never forgot that, because anytime that I have felt like I couldn't do enough or I couldn't give enough, especially to my children, I have always remembered the story that Wayne told me. I'm not really doing the story true service, but I don't want to break the confidentiality between Wayne and I. But every time that I feel that way, I remember what Wayne remembers about his mom and how he was so appreciative of what she could do, and that he never remembered what she didn't give. He was always able to remember what she did give. So I share this with you for anybody who felt like they couldn't do enough, or they can't give or do enough for their kids, especially, and they're feeling guilty about it. I want you to know that there's a really good chance that your children are going to look back and remember the effort that you did make and remember what you could give and not focus on what you couldn't. And most kids, when we were young, didn't know that they got less. Now with social media and everybody posting pictures of their tree with 9,000 presents underneath, it's harder for kids to not feel like they're comparing their lives to somebody else's. So with that, I just want to go back to saying, most likely, your children will not remember what you couldn't give. They'll remember what you gave. And so I just want you to really feel that and own that and be okay with that. I know that sometimes it's disappointing when you can't do more, but I really do want you to know that all kids want is to feel like you're there. And they will remember that you were there and that you showed up and that you tried and the effort that you made. That's what kids remember. I swear, I know you don't feel it now. I know that there are many of you who cried yourselves to sleep on Christmas Eve because you felt like you couldn't do enough. You looked around your house and thought, this isn't enough. My kids deserve more. But I'm telling you, that is not what they will remember. Also, I remember the story of a friend of mine who told me that his mom used to wrap things that they already had in the house. Like she would get them 1 or 2 presents and then wrap their own things. Like she would literally take their sneakers out of the closet and wrap them. She would wrap the TV remote control. She would wrap like a bunch of things. So they had a bunch of stuff to open and it became like a running joke in their house. Like every year they looked forward more to the funny things that mom was going to wrap than the gifts that she actually bought. And when she died, the story that all of them talked about at her funeral and all of them wanted to celebrate was the fact that mom kept wrapping things from the house, like lamps and the doormat outside. And y'all, that is what kids remember. That is I know I lost a parent. I have never once looked back at my dad and thought about what he didn't give me or the times he couldn't do enough. I look back at my dad and I think about all of the amazing times we spent together and the memories that we have. And I try desperately to hear the sound of his voice in my head. I never think about what he couldn't do or what he didn't do. So I share that with you guys to say that I know that there are a lot of people who are hurting and feel like they couldn't do enough. So the other thing that I try to do little things that will make an impact. So I always tell my kids that they have to ask Santa for presents that he can make. Because I think it's hard when kids tell other kids, Santa brought me an Xbox. And those kids are like, well, Santa brought me a coat. Why did Santa bring you an Xbox and me a coat? So I tell Michael, we have to take ownership of those presents. We can't allow our kids to tell other kids that Santa's bringing high ticket items to our home when other parents maybe can't afford that. And then it's like, well, Santa does for one family and doesn't do for another. Like, nah, we gotta own those gifts. We gotta say we work really hard. This is why mommy travels and daddy travels. This is why we work, so we could afford big ticket items for the holidays. But Santa brought you this. And you know what? My kids, they don't, it doesn't matter to them y'all. Listen, I don't know. I may not be doing it all right, but I can tell you that if you're afraid that you're not doing enough, you are. And your effort is all they will ever remember. So if you are looking at me right now, if you have that burning lump in your throat, if you have tears in your eyes because you feel like you are the mom or dad who goes and goes and goes and goes and still couldn't bring it all together, still felt like you couldn't do enough, you couldn't give enough, I promise you that your effort is what they will remember. Not the gifts, not the presents, not the wrapping paper, not what was in their stocking. When your children are 40, they're going to look back at you and remember your effort. Nobody looks back at 40 and goes, I remember in 4th grade, okay, fine. Maybe there are some people who really wanted the Teddy Ruxpin and didn't get it and they're still bitter about it. But you know what? Are you raising those kind of people? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. So I love you guys so much today, as you know. I have a surprise for you. I am doing a cooking and cast iron this week. I don't know what day yet, but I will let you know ahead of time. And I'm going to drink and be merry and cook. I actually think I'm going to do homemade chicken soup to cook. So it technically won't be in a cast iron. But I feel like many people want a really good chicken soup recipe. And nobody, like my grandmother, made chicken soup. Nobody. So I think I'm going to do her recipe. I don't know yet, but I want to teach you guys different things. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I might as well try to teach you guys different things. Let's do Wounded Warriors. And then I'm going to come back and tell you something else. The other thing is, I may do, thank you, Brooklyn. I may do a thing where I post 2 different foods, and then you guys can vote on what you want me to cook. But I think the chicken soup recipe is good because I think it's winter and a lot of kids love chicken soup. A lot of families love chicken soup, but they don't really have a good recipe. And mine is the best, if I do say so myself. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I just want you to know that we sold like 50 of my books from Barnes & Noble at the summit. We have 22 left, 22 signed books that can be personalized for anybody. So if anybody wants to order a book, The Southern Education of a Jersey Girl, you can order it from Barnes & Noble at the summit in Birmingham, and I'll go up and I will go up and sign it for you. Also, if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, it's Jamie P. Sullivan. Jamie P. Sullivan. Okay. Soup is boring. Nah, girl. My soup is banging. You misspelled banging, Heather. All right. I love you guys so much today. Have a great, great day.